Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Stay tuned to find out more. Hello Ragers, now fashion is home to an interesting paradigm. It is not just serious nor silly, but a more obscure, abstract, unknown third thing. That thing being weirdness. We have taken a look at 10 different trendy ways of dressing in the past, but today I wanted to specifically focus on the more obscure and totally unique side of things. Basically, I realized that some of you may not be as normal and well-adjusted as I'd previously thought, and figured I should tap into this demographic just this once. Likewise, the Essence Fall-Winter Trend Report was posted a couple months ago, and I've been meaning to talk about it since I found it to be quite silly. Anyway, through looking at these different trends and styles, maybe we'll find some inspiration, solace, or comfort and confide in the fact that things could always be worse. So stick around, but first, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a very user-friendly website building platform with a variety of intuitive features that can help you put your creative ideas into fruition. From a wide range of helpful design tools, mobile-optimized websites, and built-in blogging and commenting features, whether you're creating a portfolio, online storefront, or running a blog, Squarespace allows users to foster communities through the use of fully integrated and powerful blogging tools that enable you to categorize, share, and schedule posts. And don't worry, it's completely okay if you don't have much website design knowledge, as Squarespace makes the process highly accessible and streamlined for anyone. Go check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're all set, head to squarespace.com/FHTV for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code FHTV, link in the description. Now, let's get back to it. Starting off strong, we have obamacore. It kind of sounds ridiculous at first, but honestly, it makes sense. Obamacore essentially serves as the culmination of nostalgia-based trends that we've been seeing recently. It encompasses the true sentiment of the Y2K grunge 90s spectrum. Essence describes it as the period defined by the similarly optimistic, yet financially doomed and aesthetically austere styling of the Obama era. They've also seemingly cracked the trend forecast code here and given us the formulaic key to success. Basically, take the present year, then subtract the time it takes for someone to grow up and graduate high school, which will then equal the dominant year for nostalgia, right now being 2004. They've also provided a few examples of styles that encapsulate this era, with notable fabrics, motifs, and aesthetics being denim fever, anything Y2K Paris Hilton related, too cool to care, as well as low-rise jeans and such. The comments on this post are more or less what you'd expect, but honestly, I think they just don't quite grasp the true genius here. Now, the name obamacore is obviously attention-grabbing, so it works in that regard, but I feel as if these styles were sort of popular before the Obama presidency. Indie sleaze is probably a more fitting label, as that was a more prominent style featured throughout 2006 to 2012. Obamacore just seems like a lazy remaster. Fashion has been pretty dark recently, or at least in the circles that I tend to lurk in, which does coincide with whatever financial big world drama is going on. I don't think people are too optimistic right now, but what do I know? This does correlate with an article posted by the Business of Fashion, which talks about Gen Z in the age of realism in fashion. They have discovered that fashion has become the biggest entertainment category for Gen Z, and that 89% of the people who took their survey rate fashion as important for boosting confidence. And feeding into the egocentric nature of the Western youth, they state that the majority of Gen Z think that they are influential on the fashion purchases of their family or peers. And this is quite ironic to think about, considering a lot of the trends and styles that are popular now have direct references to a time period in which the majority of Gen Z were not even alive. Anyway, getting back to it, I will give Essence some credit here, since obviously trends and such come in cycles, and only time will tell what the future of obamacore might hold. But since we're already getting political, why stop now? Let's talk about the homeless crisis. Or, more specifically, the real crisis of people spending thousands of dollars to look homeless. The homelessnessification of fashion has been a thing for a while now, but say what you will about Kanye, he has continued to give the homeless people credit where credit is due. Obviously this is dystopian and peak capitalism and messed up in many regards, but that's fashion for you. The recent Balenciaga season, which was held in a mud pit and debuted garments equally as disgustingly fire, feeds into this notion. Balenciaga is of course no stranger to this. With Demna's finger on the pulse and immense grasp on the fashion industry, he leads the charge. This is most evident in the perfect storm that is the trend of rave wear or rave-esque clothing, combining elements of Y2K nostalgia and the Demna vision, as well as the likes of Glenn Martin's of Diesel and Y Project, and Ambush amongst others. Obviously, of course, this style has references to the past, such as brands like Oakley, Genko, and New Rock. It's more so an updated take and feeds into the nostalgia economy, which is clearly still thriving. Ambush's Spring-Summer 2023 collection perfectly encapsulates this aesthetic, with bright colors and a combination of baggy jeans and the very eccentric Y2K-esque motifs. Very funky, very jet-set radio. I apologize for all the Y2K brain rot, so to make up for it, let's take a look at something real and beautiful. I am, of course, referring to bride-pilled trad wife core. After reading this editorial, I no longer feel guilty about swiping and running empty shoebox methods on Essence. Anyway, they state that marriage might not be for all of us, but thanks to ruffled white dresses and pearl details, our closets for fall-winter 2022 are getting bride-pilled. Getting bride-pilled is a tradwife cosplay. It's a gesture of chastity. If not, I refrain from intercourse, an aversion to blending in, or being run-of-the-mill. And keep in mind, that is a real sentence written by a real human being. Basically, they go on to highlight this very pure and innocent way of dressing. It involves a lot of white, clean, pearl, clean girl aesthetic clothes, very formal and full of frills. Definitely in stark contrast to homelessness and obamacore. Brands like Praying and their slogan garments feed into this notion, and I think that's where Essence probably got the inspiration for this post. Obviously, these sites are desperate for attention, so these underpaid journalists are forced to use buzzwords like trad and pilled to get a reaction. They may be gentrifying our culture, but at the end of the day, Essence sells see that the influence of fashion FHTV chads. All in all, I think that's it for me. I won't subject you guys to this nonsense for any longer. I left out a few different styles because I could feel my brain melting away as I typed out a script for this video, but if you guys want a part 2, I'll maybe see what I can do in a few years from now. But alas, thank you for watching, and thank you for letting me drag you down to my level. Later, Ragers.